We've been having a very interesting time talking to Juanita with her new book. Fantastic book, guys. You really need to get a copy of this. Fabulous, faithful and free. So, there's one hat. I know you talked about it very briefly that I didn't include at the beginning. You've actually won some beauty pageants as well. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I started in pageantry. There are different tiers. There's Teen, Miss, MISS, and then for married women, there's a Mrs. division.
I know that. I was like, that's interesting.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. I think pageantry with purpose is a great thing. Story of Esther is a wonderful example of pageantry because she stood up with all the young ladies and and was crowned. Yes. And so I started in 2007. 2007 was my very first one.
Really?
And yes, and especially when I moved over to the UK, I won Miss World International. I was Mrs. World UK, Mrs. World or Mrs. International Great Britain.
Wow.
And so I had a great run.
Interesting. Funny enough, until I saw, I was like, I've never even heard of that. I was like, wow. Yeah. Maybe I need to get my groove on.
Right. It's a wonderful motivation to get in shape and to focus on yourself sometimes a little bit, because as married women, as moms, we don't do that.
No, we don't.
We don't.
So I thought it was quite interesting. Yes. But then, in your book, when you talk about being fabulous, you look great. You look fabulous. You won the pageant.
Right.
There's a tendency to look at it from an outward perspective.
Yes.
So, what does fabulous mean?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked. Because fabulous, to me, has nothing to do with the exterior. Okay. Not at all. Not at all. I think in the book I talk about fabulous just means rising above the mediocrity of life. And what I mean by that is being bold enough to step out and do something that others may not believe that you can do, or maybe you didn't even believe that you could. Maybe you thought that, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But the thing that you're called to, the thing that you're passionate about, and just rising above the mediocrity of life, to me, that's fabulous. It's nothing to do with how you look on the outside, although I do talk about, some tips on presenting our best self.
Yes.
But I give the 3 P's in my book about positivity, preparation, and permission. The steps to getting to that place where you can make bold decisions, rising above the mediocrity. I remember in law school, my college professor, my law school professor, she was the meanest woman. I won't say mean. Well, she was challenging. She was very stern. She was Russian, and she was a lawyer, and she was over the mock trial team. And I didn't even know if I would make the team. And she was hard. I mean, she would throw things at us if we messed up in practice. She was hardcore, And so we went to the competition. We were eliminated in one round, and I ran out of the courtroom I burst out in tears because I didn't want to let her down. And she took us out. It was in New York, and she took us out. She was like, "Here's to rising above the mediocrity of life. I don't care if you win or lose. I don't care where you place. You dare to do something that other people just went with the status quo." And so she gave me that rising above the mediocrity of life. That's fabulous.
That's fabulous. That is really fabulous.
Yes.
I love that very much. And I think for a lot of us, it's time for us to start getting that message into our hearts with our visions, with our passions.
Absolutely.
That whatever it is that you want to do, it's time to be fabulous and go for it.
And to be faithful to what you want to do, faithful to yourself, your value systems, and being free, meaning being able to step out of the boxes that people want to put you in.
Because faithful, because that's the next point, you've got to be faithful because, I love Miles Monroe. He's passed away now, but he always said, there can never be, you're the best original. So from that concept, being faithful to fulfilling your purpose.
Yes, to you, to yourself, to your authentic self, to who you were created to be, what you uniquely can only do.
Right.
Embracing your uniqueness. People used to, when I was a kid, I used to get picked on a lot. I have very big eyes. People, apparently I did. And I used to be called Peepers and Focus and, all these different nicknames. And they were picking, but now I love my eyes. They're my favorite asset on me. I can carry a smoky eye because I can carry a very heavy lash, because I have these big, wide set, open eyes that I love now. But growing up, I was teased so much that I honestly thought that there was something wrong. But you embrace what makes you unique is probably your best asset.
That's so
the thing
true.
that sets you apart.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It cuts across, especially when we start to talk about stuff like from the outward, our looks, our size. I believe completely in being healthy, but then God really did make us in different shapes and sizes, and it's time to be to embrace and be faithful.
Yes,
that this is who I am, and to go forward and then be fabulous.
Yes,
I like that. So let's come to free.
Yes.
So freedom is, even the word is very liberating. I love the word.
Yes.
But it can mean different things to different people.
Sure.
When we talk about freedom, what are some of the principles that you feel everyone needs to aspire to? What is freedom? And that's why I picked initially about the financial part, for example. I know I jumped the gun a bit, but I wanted to address that issue of self-love.
Yes.
And to bring us to a place of understanding what true freedom means.
So for me, I break down in the book for free to stand. The F is for faith, the R is for readiness, and that's part of preparation and doing the work. The first E being for education and wanting to be learned in a particular area. Even if you want to open a floral shop, you need to be learned in botany. You know, whatever it is, you need to educate yourself in particular areas. And the last E is for enjoyment, making sure that you take time to self-care, pouring into yourself. Even if it's a mini staycation and you don't go anywhere except for in front of your TV and you binge watch the latest Netflix.
Yes, on demand.
Yes, be happy and do something that makes you happy, even if it's buying a little piece of chocolate. You know, I travel quite a bit. Everybody can travel for various reasons. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's logistics. If you have 5 children, you may not be able to walk away and take a trip to Morocco because you felt like it.
That's right.
You know, but you can take a trip to the store and buy your favorite candy because that makes you happy. So in the enjoyments of life, that's what freedom is. So the ability to incorporate all of those things and really break out of the boxes and the limitations other people put on us and sometimes we put on ourselves.
Wow. This has been so amazing, and I really love that acronym. It's stuck in my head right now, and I can always play that back.
Yes.
And you know, as I just reflect on everything we've talked about, knowing yourself and loving yourself, you've given us such amazing principles, life principles, things you've experienced. But the one F word that has just come into my heart is forgiveness. I feel as if there are people listening to us right now who are taking those boxes and saying, okay, but tomorrow, when this episode has stopped playing, they regress back to a cycle which is fueled by unforgiveness. And we're not going to talk about forgiveness of people and what has happened to you. Let's talk about, how do you forgive yourself?
That is the biggest piece. I think that's just as big as forgiving others. I think sometimes because we're so willing to make excuses for others, that it's almost easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. Now, we're not talking about, and when I talk about forgiveness of self, we're not talking about situations of extreme trauma. So someone is sexually violated or anything of that nature. There are some things that happen to you that have nothing to do with you whatsoever. Bad things happen to great people. And those situations, forgiving your aggressor is a totally different situation. But oftentimes in relationships, in everyday life, in offense, where you have to forgive someone else, there's a part of self-forgiveness that has to take place. Because at some point in time, and it's interesting because someone once said, you know, if someone lies to you or someone close to you deceived you, you've got to start backtracking and seeing where in your life did you lie to yourself? Did you deceive yourself? Even if it's at the point where the first time they did it, you didn't believe them. The first time you saw it, you made an excuse for it. Maybe because you were naive, you didn't know any better. It was the first time experiencing something, but something happened where you started to deceive yourself. It's the relationship with yourself and where it starts. If someone disrespected you, where in life are you disrespecting yourself? Forgive it. Tell yourself that it's okay. It's okay for you to be 18 and naive and he lied to you and misled you and you didn't see the signs. Grow from it. You see it now. No one can run the same game again. And it doesn't mean that you excuse that person's behavior.
Yeah.
It does not let them off of the hook.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it was right what they did. It's just that in order for you to change the course of behavior and to really make a shift in your life, there has to be some accountability of what you allow. You really do. And people can say it's spiritual. They can talk about energy, whatever the case may be. You do attract certain things into your life, and it's a reflection of where you are. And that's the hardest piece that we want to accept or don't want to accept. But you have to do that to be able to forgive and then be able to trust yourself, because it's like I won't trust others. You don't trust other people. It's because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to make a judgment call about that person and to say, you know what, I'm just going to stay off. I'm not going to get involved with anyone or have any friendships, relationships. I'm just going to stay secluded because you don't trust your judgment. You got to work that muscle of forgiving yourself so that you can start to trust who you are, and then you can trust others, trust God, trust it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. This has been such a phenomenal session. I've thoroughly enjoyed just having us chat and having you on the show.
Yes.
Thank you,
enjoyed
Juanita. And I know we've mentioned before, you can get Juanita's book on Amazon, on online, on any of the bookstores online. And just thinking about everything you said, knowing yourself, loving yourself means you're kind to yourself. And I'd like everyone to just take time out after today's episode and be kind to yourself. Do something. And if you can't go away on a vacation, have a staycation. I like that.
Stay where you are and just relax.
And just relax.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being on the show today. And thank you very much for tuning in. We're looking forward to when next we're on your screen. Why don't you pop us an email? Make a comment on our YouTube page, reach out on any of our social media handles. Would love to hear your thoughts. This is Relationships with Adenyke, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.